Welcome to This Just In, the show bringing you the latest advancements in healthcare, strategy, innovation, and public policy. And now, for the fastest voice in healthcare, here's your host, Justin Barnes.
Thank you for tuning in and welcome to This Just In. I'm your host, Justin Barnes. In these segments, I'll bring the latest advancements in healthcare, strategy, innovation, and leadership. As always, we're broadcasting from the This Just In studios on the Business Radio X network, as well as the Healthcare Now radio network. However, for this episode, and on the heels of our 2024 Podcast of the Year Award, we're excited to announce that we're expanding our broadcast onto the Global Health Podcast Network and the phenomenal community there. Could not be more thrilled as we grow and expand globally. And also to remind everyone that the This Just In radio show will be broadcasting live from HIMSS25 in Las Vegas, March 3rd through the 6th. So come by and see us there. We'll actually be doing 2 different live broadcasts each day. And also, as everybody knows, it's great to collaborate with thousands of our closest industry peers at the HIMSS annual conference. I'm certainly ready, but I'm also ready for this episode, my 322nd episode. We have a very special guest joining us, President and CEO of HIMSS, Hal Wolf. Welcome back to the show, Hal.
Justin, thank you for having me back. It's great to be here.
You got it, my friend. So before we dive into it, all the great content that we have, where are you calling in from?
I'm actually calling in from Hawaii.
Oh, excellent. Are you based there? Are you on vacation there, getting ready for the big conference?
No, I tell you what, about every year, if I can, I come here for about a week or so before a conference, sit down, collect thoughts, write out, what we're going to be talking about. I have a opening discussion that always opens up HIMSS and try to put some thought in behind it. And this year is certainly no exception.
Yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for you taking the time to join this show. Obviously, you're in your the final hours and prep work. I know there's a lot going on, so thanks again, Hal. I appreciate it. So my guests know you get to know you a bit more. Where were you born and raised, college, all that good stuff?
Sure. I'm 4th generation from Tampa, Florida.
I'm in Sarasota right now. That's Sarasota. So.
Oh, there you go. So, I know the Sarasota area really well, Lombo Key and the front on the Gulf. Yeah. So my family moved there in the 1800s and 4th generation, and both of my sons were born in Florida. So it's an old standing Florida family. Was raised there and in North Carolina, did my undergraduate at Wake Forest University, a small school in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and my postgrad at North Carolina State. So I claim Florida and North Carolina kind of as my 2 home states.
Absolutely, my friend. Well, I became a Florida resident, I guess, in 2019, 2020, I think technically, and moved here full time in 2022. So absolutely love it down here. And yeah, it's a special place. You came from a great place. Tampa's a lot of fun too, for sure. So I guess, looking out towards, HIMSS25, the annual conference, tell us a little bit about that. What's going to be new this year? What can some, new attendees see and repeat attendees? What can we look out for there?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of innovation going on in 25. I think this is going to be a particularly interesting conference because there's a number of things in flux just 1 month out. We've had a change in administration. We have new policies coming in. But a lot of the features that have been set up already for HIMSS25, just feature-wise, we're going to have a new AI pavilion. So this is a part of the maturity model in AI that's been moving forward. There's an emerge innovation experience, which is brand new, which is bringing startups to engage directly with the hospital layers and the clinical layers as they're really on the verge of emerging as something from an innovation. There's a cybersecurity command center because that's such a critical part. And Interop and Smart Experience Pavilion not only takes interoperability, but a special emphasis on HIE and the security that exists in its exchange. And there's a first-time exhibitors pavilion. One of the things we heard from many of the first-time exhibitors is, how do we get a great spotlight on our new stuff? So we've moved that over into the Caesars Forum, and I think that's going to be really productive. And a big pre-conference forum on health equity. We've always had health equity as a big part of HIMSS. And, from there, it's really the transformation of health. Pre-com is going to be amazing about robust data analytics and how do you use it. And this is a real new one, which is we're going to take midday breaks in the general education sessions so people can get down on the floor and see some of those innovations instead of running them all the way through And that's at the request of many of the attendees because there's just so much to do. You can't do it all at once.
Right.
So we're trying to break it up a little bit better so that people can take full expansion. And then finally, an extended hostess buyers program. So lots of new pavilions, lots of new changes in the schedule, all at the request of attendees. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Yeah, I think this is actually, I was trying to do the math really quickly in my head. I think this is gonna be my 25th or 26th HIMSS. I've been at every one since 2000 and, well, we didn't do one 2020 because of
Oh,
COVID,
yes,
but
I remember.
yeah, I think 2003, right? But actually, ironically, you were one of my first guests. I've been doing my show live since 2015, HIMSS 20, 2015 or HIMSS 15, 2015. And then, yeah, with COVID hit, we had to scramble really quickly. We still did the show. We did it remotely because we didn't do it on site. Yeah.
Yep.
How many attendees do you expect this year, ballpark, if you know
I
yet?
think we're going to be around 30,000 again. I think that we've been getting a great response in terms of registration. What's also fascinating in the registration is the number of new HIMSS members that have been signing up.
Yeah.
It's literally over 35% ahead of previous years. So a lot of people are jumping into the society as a part of their daily lives.
Oh, and that's essential. I mean, and you guys, and we've not spoken since last year, but you knocked out of the park with HIMSS 24. I mean, HIMSS 24, we were all talking about it. I broadcast live there. The energy on the show floor was electric, and it was exciting. And we all were talking about it. Every single guest, and I did not prompt them. That just kind of rolled through because we do a pretty rapid fire, 12-minute interviews, all back to back to back. Every single guest was just brought up how exciting it was to be there, the energy that was in the room across the conference, even how large it was. It didn't even feel overwhelming. Even it was just a great energy that was in the room, even though there was a lot going on. It was an exciting time. So great job with HIMSS 24, and obviously, I'm sure you're gonna knock out of the park with 25. So
Thank you.
yeah,
We're looking forward to it. We try to take all that great feedback and energy
yeah.
and just add on the things that we heard from people that they wanted, adjusted, and we think we've got a pretty great formula coming in at 25.
Yeah, and I'll take a second here for everybody because it's still early on in the show. With HIMSS for sure, you can always get out of HIMSS what you want. And if you're saying, well, I'm not sure if I should go, if you don't make HIMSS a successful conference for you, in my opinion, that's on you. You have everything that you can accomplish there, every goal you can achieve there. If you get out there, you make your roadmap, you make your plan, everybody's there, you can achieve your goals. Education, context, networking, relationship building, following up with past relationships, nurturing past relationships. Everybody is there. Everything is there, and so you can absolutely should have a fantastic show. And if you don't, you're doing something wrong because every opportunity is in front of you. Is what I like to tell everybody. I've always built companies like, oh, I'm not sure if I should go to HIMSS. I don't know. Then that's you should be at HIMSS every single year is what I always tell everybody for sure. So.
I think it's right. I mean,
Yeah.
I started going 22 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and you hit the nail on the head. You get out of it what you go in.
You got
But
it.
whatever you're interested in, it's there.
It's there.
That's the beauty of the society itself, right? So there's over 300 education programs, over 150 your CEs. You have all the new technologies, all the emerging companies on the floor,
Yeah.
and you have the networking.
Right.
This is the largest healthcare meeting in the United States where people come together to think about digital health transformation and all the aspects of it.
Yeah.
And it's not just on the floor, which is amazing, but even in the bars and the receptions and the conversations in the hallways. If you eavesdrop on them, it's always about what's going on in healthcare and what did you learn and what do you think of this and what do you think of that? It's a very stimulating environment.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. So you brought up cybersecurity, AI. I've actually hosted probably half my shows in the last 3 months have been on touching those topics in some capacity, if not solely on those topics. So what can we look forward to at HIMSS 25 regarding cybersecurity, AI, some of the speakers and programming that you have planned?
Yeah, so we mentioned about the AI pavilion. There's also a cybersecurity command center, which is also a new pavilion as well. You've hit on two of the four main topics that HIMSS is deeply committed to. It's a part of our overall membership strategy. What we've heard from our members is their focus point. We add into that digital health transformation, which is really the umbrella, if you would, of what people are trying to accomplish. And workforce development, it's
Mhm.
huge.
It's huge.
You know, it's that education. We always think about people, process, and technology. The technology would be on full display, and I think everyone expects that.
Absolutely.
But what's more important is how do you use the technology and how do I gain value out of it? And how are others gaining value? So when you go into the AI pavilion, it's going to show you how it's being deployed. You know, AI, Justin's in it's sort of its third year, if you would.
Yeah.
If you go back 3 years at HIMSS, we were having opening panels talking about, well, what is it?
Yeah.
You know, what are the positives? What are the dangers?
Yeah.
Last year, we talked about it's being deployed in devices, in operations, and clinical decision support. This year, you're going to see it even in more devices and outcomes can be
There you go.
associated with it. So that's exciting. As far as keynotes go, you know, you've got General Nakasone, which is going to be giving a keynote on disruptive technologies and examining the challenges and opportunities of cyber AI and beyond. And of course, that's going to be fascinating to me. Mastering Cyber Threat Intelligence to Protect Patient Safety by
Mm.
Michael Gross. We've got real-time analytics, performing platform, and it's usable AI in action. So
Yes.
this is the big year, right? We've gone from theoretical to introduction, and now we're going to see it in action in a whole bunch of different layers. And of course, it's all about the information. So cybersecurity is huge.
No, very, very exciting. And I remember my guest last year, AI was part of every single radio show, every single discussion, every single interview. AI was coming up. And like you said, it's great. We're not just talking about it now, we're seeing the implementation of it. Now we're starting to see outcomes, which is when it gets really, really exciting, seeing how it improves patient care, how it can make, improve decision making and just be, create a better healthcare system overall. And we're just at the tip of that. So, we're just starting it. For those that may have tuned in a little late, we have a special guest, President and CEO of HIMSS, Hal Wolf. So, what are some of the collaboration and networking opportunities that'll be there at HIMSS this year?
Wow. There's going to be a tons. First,
You don't have to list all 100, but what are some
yeah,
of the
I
top
know.
ones, right?
Well, first of all, because HIMSS is a society, you know, look around for the segment of the universe that you're involved in. So whether you're in a HIMSS chapter, whether you're a physician leader, whether you're a nurse informaticist, whether you're a CIO or a technologist, there's lots of different groups that are getting together as always to be able to talk about what are their major challenges and issues. And then a lot of pavilions and a lot of meetings taking place where we do those intersections
Hmm.
because that's where the rubber meets the road. No one sits inside a bubble in healthcare and gets everything done. You've got to collaborate with the folks around you. So that's super important. We've worked very hard and we've developed and announced a new exclusive relationship with AMDIS. And so that's the largest CMIO, Chief Medical Informatics Officer
Yeah.
Association. And, you know, HIMSS and AMDIS are getting together and we're creating new educational programs for the CMIO. It's a place that we've always had a close relationship with them, and now we're on top of it with them in general. Class is going to be there, and they're going to be giving their awards presentation at HIMSS25. And all across the board, we have a number of partners that are coming together to present the best of within their programs. You're going to see some innovation on stage. We're starting with the SMC, which is out of Korea,
Hmm.
the Samsung Medical Center. They're going to be talking about how they use AI and information to change their operations quickly and effectively, and the introduction of robots that actually can work with children. This is all going to be on stage opening up. It's going to be quite a surprise and
That's
fun for
cool.
everybody. So if you're listening to this show, you just got a really neat tip
Yeah.
going into it. And I hope you are.
Yeah.
Plus, we've been going through a lot of cool stuff at the HIMSS Connect booth, and I hope everyone comes by. You're going to see a lot of collaboration in the development of the maturity models. Maturity models or people that put out technology checklists, it's not that's the big deal anymore. The question is, what are you doing with it?
Yep.
So we've gone through a full modernization of our analytical maturity model, MM. We've relaunched our infrastructure this past year to really get into the depth of information. So come by the HIMSS booth at Connect, and you're going to see a whole bunch of new features.
Yeah, love it. And yeah, you go back to connecting and collaborating. It was one of the high points of my career in just I think late 03, 04, we formed the EHR Vendors Association. At the time, HIMSS stepped up and said, hey, we want you to create that umbrella under us. And so we were able to create, then we ended up evolving, I being the chairman, I changed it to the EHR Association, took out the word vendor. But you guys, HIMSS has always been the most phenomenal partner to us as the EHR Association. And still to this day, you guys serve as a phenomenal partner. So, and our umbrella is under your umbrella. And so it's, grateful for that, thankful for that. But also, that just brought so much to my career. That collaboration, not only did I have my company, but also being able to collaborate with all of my peers in the industry, and that our sales teams competed, but our companies all collaborated. We collaborated to make the industry better. We collaborated for patients. But we also collaborated for interoperability, and you guys housed and spurred on and fostered a lot of that under the HIMSS umbrella. So I always want to say thank you to HIMSS for that and that collaboration and opportunity. So.
Our pleasure. I was talking this morning to the head of our nursing analytics unit, and how's registration going? It's filling up fast. They're very excited about this year's programming and the sponsorship behind it. And when I mentioned AMDIS earlier, which is the Association of Medical Directors of Information Systems, that includes not just the CMIOs, but physician leaders, clinical leaders. We've really seen this expansion, Justin, in the clinical leadership space, and their engagement in the use of information and the criticality of their involvement in the deployment. It was big a couple years ago. It's accelerated off the chart with AI stepping into the space right now, because they can do so much more with the information and knowledge management systems than they ever had previously. And that's really a game changer.
That is awesome. So top of mind, certainly for me and a lot of my guests, this is the second HIMSS Global Annual Conference in the partnership with Informa. How's that gone? How will that impact the show? But how has that partnership gone with Informa?
It's gone incredibly well. So what's neat about the Informa relationship is that Informa is a global entity that really understands how to create an environment where events like the HIMSS Global Conference, and you talked about hitting it out of the park last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a lot of that. That was Informa coming in, look, feel, changing the flow. How do you lay out the exhibit space? How do we ensure there are enough meeting rooms? All the way down to the fine arts of the caterings, et cetera. And then partnering in terms of content. What drives the interest, and just learning the information behind it, all the surveys, how we can serve all the wonderful people that come, to the HIMSS Global Conference. So that collaboration continues. We've never felt closer to them than we do even right now as we're getting into 25. And we're just a month out. We'll be in the midst of it right now in 4 weeks, which is both exciting and terrifying at the same time.
Exactly.
Which is why I'm, been resting a bit.
Yeah.
But no, they've just been outstanding partners. I think what HIMSS brings is, besides it's the content, it's the perspective of the healthcare industry that only a global entity like HIMSS can bring, because we are the largest global nonprofit of our ilk. And then you combine that with their expertise in running events, you have a very powerful combination.
Well, congratulations. Love it. So what are some of the priorities, for 2025 when you see for the biggest trends coming? I mean, we talked about AI, we talked about cybersecurity, but when you say, hey, these are some of the biggest trends that we're tackling this year at the conference in general, but also in healthcare, from your perspective.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you get past just the AI and the cybersecurity label, you're really talking about an adjunct change in digital health transformation. So what does that mean? More and more devices are showing up on people's arms and wrists.
Yeah.
I carry a ring that, feeds data, and I compare it with friends all the time. But really, it's about moving care not away from, but not only within the hospital and the clinics. Those are always going to be there. But the engagement level by the patient with these devices and the care at home still remain a integration point, if you would, that's very exciting, and you're going to see that. The second part, and you'll see it in the Emerge Technology Pavilion and efforts going on at HIMSS, is I'm going to use this phrase of a mesh point, if you would.
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, we have our critical clinics and our hospitals, and every single day they're working to deliver better care and better outcomes. On the other side, we have innovation systems. We have the global app ecosystem, if you would.
Yeah.
It's developing and creating innovations and coming up with new ways to support care delivery and also to support engagement of the patient at home, right? Or in their individual lives.
Yeah.
The mesh point between those two, where the medical model and the health model, if you would, meet each other,
Mm-hmm.
this is where we're seeing the most intense interest and selection process we've ever seen before. This is where the minds are really coming together because the hospital is saying, what do I bring in with as a part of my strategic plan in my limited bandwidth to change? And the innovation side is saying, hey, you got to look at this because this is a game changer for you. So that is where that mesh point, I think you're going to see quite an interesting conversation at HIMSS25 this year.
I love it. Very cool. Yeah. No, I mean, obviously that is top of mind when you think about how we're evolving, where we're evolving in care. So that's fantastic. So a couple questions before we close the show. You mentioned health equity, how it's always been forefront to HIMSS, but what are you guys doing this year to promote that? And what are some of the focuses there in 25?
Well, health equity is really built in fundamentally to our vision statement, which is to realize the full health potential of every human everywhere. And that is a statement that works for every citizen, no matter who you are, where you are. And it's a critical responsibility of governments around the world. So what we're going to be focusing on at HIMSS is, of course, continuing to push on our health equity demand. If you would, the demand that comes to us and say, help us with health equity. Let's make sure that we're gaining access. Let's make sure the best care is being brought forward. Let's make sure that the best tools and the capabilities are basically brought front and center so that individuals know that we can serve as many people as the demand is on top of us. Healthcare systems, Justin, remain behind. We don't have enough people to take care of everyone in the demand cycle.
Absolutely.
So digital health transformation is a key and critical, invaluable tool to drive this relationship, which says, here's how you can service people and engage people outside the walls and help better care for your country, for your system, for your hospital, for your patients, for your citizens.
Yep.
So that's where it's going to be. It's a constant theme. It cuts across every single aspect. And there's a first time ever health equity pre-conference forum, which is going on at HIMSS25, which is going to be tackling exactly those issues. So I hope everyone signs up for it.
That's great. And obviously, these needs grow in our communities. Like you said, we need more extenders. We need more, when I say extenders, we need more technology extenders into the community to take care of more people more efficiently because we can't do it, the old way. We need to start being more innovative. And so that sounds awesome. Kind of one of our last questions here. What other sessions and programming or speakers would you want to mention in kind of our closing couple minutes here? Anything, what else, where the spotlight is? Yeah. Please.
Yeah, so this one's close and dear to my heart because I'm going to be the one doing the interview on stage. But Seema Verma is Executive Vice President and General Manager of Oracle Health and Life Sciences,
Sure.
and I'll be doing a view from the top.
Good.
I've known Seema for a number of years, incredibly insightful individual. As you know, she ran HHS when she was over in the Trump administration in their first passing. She's done an amazing job at Oracle Health, and I'm really looking forward to that conversation with her. So bright, so thoughtful in the way that she thinks about it.
Yeah.
We're going to be taking a look at the public health crisis with the Commissioner of Health in New Jersey and the Department of Health, where they're talking about mental health and the addiction treatments that are going on. And that's a new segment at HIMSS this year. So we're excited about that. And then just go on to the website because the list is so extensive, whether we're talking about value-based care, innovation officers from SCAN, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Humana. Ed Marks is going to be coming and talking,
That's great.
About Marks, about what's going on in the world of innovation. The list is endless, but as you said earlier, and I couldn't agree with you more, Whatever you're after, you're going to find. So get planning because you
Got it.
need to come in with a thoughtful attack.
You do. You do. I couldn't, I want to reiterate that too, from my perspective. HIMSS is what you make it. Certainly, it's the place to be. Ed Marks, a great friend of the show, good friend of mine. Seema is fantastic as well. So, gosh, to close with that is great, spot on. Hal, can't wait to see you in a few weeks. It's going to be a great time. I know it'll be very successful, and you guys will continue to build a great conference annually. So, thank you for that.
Thank you, Justin. It's absolutely great to hear you, and we'll look forward to seeing you very soon.
You will, my friend. Thank you so much again. Truly appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to join us, certainly with your busy time. And a big thank you to all my listeners and supporters who voted us 2024 Podcast of the Year. Please tune into our show and our broadcast weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. As always, you can find me on LinkedIn at Justin T. Barnes and track me on Twitter at HIT Advisor and use the hashtag ThisJustinRadio so we can respond to your comments from the show. If you missed any of this episode or want to hear more, my shows are all posted at YouTube, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Amazon Music, Megaphone, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn. And you can check out the new thought leadership page that we just published at justinbarnes.com with all of these highlights. We truly appreciate everyone, and thanks. Have a great, safe day. Take care.